In 2022, Germany agreed to fund projects worth $1.2 billion over 3 decades in Namibia to make up for colonial wrongs such as property seizures and killings that were carried out by its colonial forces between 1904 and 1908. Germany also apologized for the massacre of some 65,000 Herero and 10,000 Nama people, and for the first time called the massacre a genocide. But critics say Germany should not have directed its apology to the Namibian state, but to the descendants of the affected communities.
Germany must come to a table, discuss with us, negotiate with Hereros and Namas, and together we agree on what is appropriate to repair the damage it has caused to the Hereros and Namas, wherever they are at the moment.
Namibia's former president, Hage Geingob, initiated negotiations with Germany, but affected communities criticized him for excluding them in the talks. Laidlaw Peringada is one of them. As a direct descendant of a genocide victim, he started the Swakopmund Genocide Museum to teach people about colonial wrongs. He says land ownership was not addressed and that ancestral land taken by German forces has not been returned.
Without land, you are nothing. So I think we must first focus on the land that our ancestral land must be returned back, And you find thousands and thousands of the descendants of some of these slaves, here. Some of them are staying in an informal settlement, and it's not their wish for them to stay there. They are living in abject poverty.
Many of the genocide victims were buried in shallow graves in sand dunes in Swakopmund town. With their land having been taken, their descendants were pushed into informal settlements where living conditions are difficult.
We have lack of sanitation. We don't have proper toilet facilities. We don't have electricity. We don't have libraries. We don't have ECD centers. We don't even have a closer school where these little ones can go. So they have to walk a mile of 6 kilometers to reach to their nearest school.
Reparation talks have now been put on hold as Namibia and Germany discuss amendments to an earlier declaration. The proposed amendments include reducing the 30-year project funding to 5 or 10 years. But some parties say affected communities should accept the earlier offer.
I think the joint declaration needs support, and it is definitely not the perfect model because the amount of compensation offered does not amount to reparations, but there is at least an offer on the table, and in the absence of anything else, I think we need to support it.
Germany was the third biggest colonial power after Britain and France. White people make up 5% of Namibia's population, but control more than 70% of the country's prime agricultural land. An official in charge of the genocide talks said all affected parties were invited to the joint negotiations. However, Germany's foreign ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Caroline B., CGTN.